Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and recently, as in like today at the time of recording this, and maybe at the time of releasing this, might depend on time zones and stuff, but a bunch of new cards were just revealed. These are the rest of the Glory of Team Rocket cards, which is the rest of Destined Rivals, I believe. And so it's not like the cards that have just been revealed aren't a substantial portion of the set, but they are, a meaningful portion. I've not actually looked at them at all yet, so I'm really excited to dive into those. And so I'll be talking about the ones that are newer reveals. I'll talk about some that I've talked about before as well in the podcast, or that I talked about in last week's podcast or this past week. And then I'll also be talking about the the entire set, the entire Dust Revival set on the podcast when they come fossil again. So that'll actually be interesting. And I'll give my top 10, and then I might do a top 10 later. So, anyways, there's that. But there's also these cards, which are Japan Gym promos. And these are cards that you can get in Japan, but they will come out internationally, which is where I play and probably most of you play. And these are interesting cards. I don't know when they're going to come out, which is actually like really unfortunate because well, let's just hop right in. I looked at one card so far, and it's really interesting. Obviously, not all these are new. We got Fluttermane, we got Kieran, and we have Night Stretcher, but we have oh yeah, it says typically it'll be around 6 months till we get these. So yeah, we'll see exactly when we'll get these. I really don't know. But anyways, first we have Psyduck. This Pokemon has this ability. Let's just read it. So it's called Damp, and it says each player's Pokemon that has an ability with an effect that knocks out that Pokemon does not have that ability. The only card I can think of slash two cards that this. Oh no, there's three. This ups Dusknoir though. This is crazy. Dusknoir is probably one of the most, I don't know if most hated Pokemon. There was a time when people were like calling for it to be banned, but it wasn't like absurdly good. It was just good, but it's still quite good, kind of annoying. And this is a really big deal. It's a little bit of a niche counter, so I don't know exactly how good it is. I think it's like good, but not insane. But anyways, this card is a really, really big deal. The wording is really weird. I think it only stops Pokemon that knock themselves out, right? Not Pokemon that knock out other Pokemon, like say Wheezing, but whatever. That's fine. This is really, really big. Okay, and then there's a Golduck with the same ability. Oh, the attack's not translated, which is, I think it's Hydro Pump, which is 60 plus 20 per. It doesn't really matter, right? You're not really going to be attacking with this. You're probably not playing this stage one, or yeah, stage one ever. You're probably playing the basic. It also has 70 HP, which is nice. One retreat, so just really good. Awesome card that will probably see a lot of play or might scare off Dusknoir. Or both. Then we have Team Rocket's Kangaskhan EX. I have not looked at all the Team Rocket stuff, but I've looked at a bunch, and this can do 30 for two colors, which can be paid for with one energy. For each, you flip 4 coins, 30 for each head, so average is 60, can do 120. It's not super strong, but could be worse. Then we have Dark Impact. This does 120, and if you play a supporter with Team Rockets and it's named during your turn, just 100 more. This is okay. I mean, 220 for three. We see this all the time, but it's not super special. You have to play the supporter, so probably not particularly good. But again, it could be worse. Then we have Team Rocket's Hypnosis device, which I actually don't know what I'm looking at. This looks like a helmet with like steam coming out of it or something. I don't know. But anyways, it says if the Team Rocket's Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's. Yeah, it's damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon. I think that's how it's translated normally. But anyways, if that happens, even if it's knocked out or if it's not, then your opponent's active is asleep. This is okay, nothing super special. We'll take a look at the Team Rocket's Pokemon some, and again, I looked at I think a lot of them, but it looks it looks okay. I mean, nothing really super special to say about it, but it's a little disruptive. Then we have a few cards that have gotten their own separate articles, so I'll look at those. Team Rocket's Tyranitar I'll mention pretty quickly. I kind of talked about this, but not exactly. Also has an attack that evolves, which is kind of nice, an Ascension style attack. You can use Salvatore and then attack, and that's actually decent. This Pokemon has an ability. It says put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's basic Pokemon during Pokemon checkup. This is decent. It's obviously not like super insane, but it's pretty solid. Overall, a decent ability. They're not super strong. Again, I talked about this kind of speculatively, but I talked about it some. And then Breakthrough Tackle for fighting colorless. Colorless does 180 discard energy from your opponent's active, so it could be worse, but it's also not super good. If you're looking for that amazing Team Rocket's Pokemon, this is not that. So you have Team Rocket's Hypno. This one for 3 colorless, you do 80, no, 80 times. Your opponent flips a coin for each of their bench Pokemon. It's 80 for each tails. Because they're flipping, and you don't apply weakness or resistance, which doesn't really matter. It makes it a little worse, I guess. But anyways, this is kind of weird. Like theoretically, it's pretty strong against decks with Air Zero Underdepth. So if your opponent has 8 bench Pokemon, this is going to be averaging, 320, but it's not super consistent. It's kind of hard to pay, and also that's pretty niche. Or it's moderately niche. This attack isn't obviously super good, but it could be worse as well. It's kind of fun. Probably not something I'd play in Team Rockets, but you could if you wanted. It's not like completely terrible either. Yeah, it's definitely like there are a lot of attacks that we see like this, and generally they're pretty bad. This one is not that bad. Its damage is decent, but again, it's niche, and you need some luck. Then we have Team Rocket's Orbeetle, and so this Team Rocket's Dollar can rearrange top 5 of your opponent's deck, which is kind of interesting. But Team Rocket's Orbeetle, as often as you like during your turn, you may move 1 damage counter from one of your Team Rocket's Pokemon to another one of your Pokemon, or no, yeah, to any other Pokemon. So it can move it to like Fezandipti EX or something, but it's okay. It's a stage 2. We've seen Pokemon like this, and generally they're bad, especially when they're limited in this way. If they're not limited, it could be okay, but this is pretty niche, I think. There's some interesting Team Rocket stuff with moving damage counters around, but this is still a stage 2 Pokemon, and its ability is not insane, so it's probably kind of bad. And then it can do 80, or no, we can do 40 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active for 3. We see attacks like this. They're generally not super good. They can be okay, but there's only a few that are okay, and the rest are relegated to being pretty bad. So it could be worse, but not super strong. Then we have the full set, though. So we'll take a look at this. I hope it's fully translated. It looks like it is. I hope it will. If it's not, then that'll be later. But anyways, we have. I'm not really going to talk about some of these cards here. They look really boring, and especially the not Team Rockets one. This is interesting though. Rotom with Gadget Show does 30 for each Pokemon tool attached to all your Pokemon. There was a Rotom from. What's it from? Oh, this is from the mini set. Oh, and this is the same. Oh, this is actually. Okay, this is I didn't. This is also a Rotom. So Rotom. This is not actually the same Japanese set. This is from Scarlet and Violet 10. This is from Scarlet and Violet 9A. But they have the same attack. Gadget Show, just 30 for each tool attached to all of your Pokemon. Same attack cost, 2 colorless. Not rockets, so you're not gonna be able to use that there, but it's payable. And it's just a different type. And this is a solid type to be grass. Lightning is also decent, so that's interesting. We'll see if there are others, but the first deck is like not very good. But whatever, that's fine. This is interesting, and you can play them together for some different things, but they don't have that much advantage over one another. This literally just can do 130 for 1, which could be worse, but it's also not super strong. Team Rocket's Spite Ops accelerates to itself. I talked about this before. It can do damage for Team Rocket's Pokemon in play, but it's not super strong. Overall, I don't think this card is particularly good. It does have some synergies with Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX, but I don't think it's good enough there. Then we have Arboliva EX, interesting to see. I think a fun Pokemon. But anyways, it has the attack Oil Machine Gun, which does for 1 grass, choose one of your opponent's Pokemon 6 times, do 20 damage to it. You can choose the same one more than once or not, and is not affected by weakness or resistance, even in the active. This is pretty interesting. I do like attacks like this. It can do 120 Snipe, which is not bad, and you can spread it out. I think this attack is decent. The second attack is 160 for 3 colors, recovers from all special conditions. There's another Pokemon with a similar attack. That Pokemon's insane. That's Gardevoir EX, but that's obviously very different. Yeah, I always find it like effects of attacks like this kind of silly because half the special conditions stop you from attacking. But anyways, it's nice to have, I guess. It's better than to not have the attack. But the first attack is pretty interesting here. It's not super strong. It's only doing 120. Like that's the max you can do is 160 for 2 more energies, 120 for the base. But it's not bad. I could see this being really interesting with spread stuff. There is going to be, by the time this comes out in Japan, it's out in Japan now, as opposed to these cards, which are not quite out, but they'll be out at the same time internationally. It's the Shaman, which is just like Bench Barrier, or Aquavale, or what's it on Manaphy? Manaphy has Wave Veil. And so you have that bench protection, and that'll be out, and people can just kind of stop this, but they might not do it all the time either. And then we have Arcanine. Okay, that's kind of bad. It can do much a darkness Pokemon. It seems pretty niche. Team Rocket's and Moltres EX I talked about in the podcast actually a lot with Uncommon Fossil, and it can like instantly discard your points active, but it's 4 colorless, or no, 4 energy, 2 or 3 which are colorless, which can be paid for using the Team Rocket's energy, one which is fire. It's really awkward and not super high upside. And yeah, it's just kind of weird, but it's kind of fun. We have Team Rocket's Houndoom. Not super interesting there, though. Blaziken EX, I talked about this, but it's 120 active, 120 snipe. It's okay. I definitely rather use Star Manitan, though. Okay, we got Heat Rotom. Same thing. Again, first attack's pretty bad. Probably unusable because you're probably just playing colorless energy. Maybe you can use some of them. But anyways, it is the same thing. And Fire Weakness it's kind of niche, especially with our Caledon EX, or not resisting, but not being weak to fire after attacks. But it's okay. Team Rocket's Articuno stops effects of attacks onto your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. It's okay, and the attack's okay. The ability's interesting though. Huntail and Gorbis. Huntail says whenever one of your Pokemon is knocked out, when your water Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may put all water energy attached to that Pokemon into your hand instead of the discard. Then you can use Gorbis with its attack Crescendo Wave, which says does 30 for each water energy attached to it. But before doing the damage, you can accelerate water energy from your hand to it. Really interesting combo. Not super strong, but it's kind of fun. Then we have this Abomasnow, which is kind of bad. Again, could be worse. Then we have Wash Rotom. Okay, there is no what's the other water Rotom? I don't remember what it is, but there's 2 of them, a Freeze Rotom or something like that. The one that's a freezer, and this is the same thing, right? So it's another type. It's fine. Probably one of the weakest types to hit as a weakness. Fire is pretty bad. I mean, there's fire energy played in different decks, but they're not fire decks, right? So, yeah, this is not super great, but it's nice to have the option. Wait, are they all 80? No, this one's 60. The grass one is 70 and has 1 retreat, and the fire one is 80 and 2 retreat. So the fire, like being more HP is obviously bad. Well, okay, you want 70, you want 1 retreat. Their retreat doesn't matter as much, but the 70 does. So this is not searchable with Buddy Buddy Pop, and so this was actually pretty bad. I think you could play the fire one. I would not play the water one. And we'll see if we have other types here. I imagine there is. Anyways, we got a pretty generic Barraskewda. It's a Titan EX, which is like a little tanky. It's honestly not that interesting. I've talked about it before. Team Rocket Zapdos, again, not super interesting. Team Rocket's Ampharos, not super interesting, but does get damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. It's when they evolve. We got the Hypno. We got Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. It has absurd HP. That's like the first thing that jumps out. I've talked about this before again, I think multiple times, but then it does 160 for 3, and you can discard 2 energy from your bench Pokemon. It does 60 more, so it could do 280. It's okay. I think it's a 10 to be paired with Spidops EX, but I don't think it's super good. Team Rocket's Wobbuffet, healing and moving damage. This one can be paired with the no, you move the damage from your Pokemon to your opponents. This can be paired with the Orbeetle, but I think that's kind of bad. So I wouldn't do that. Then we got Team Rocket's Chingling. Okay, so we got Okay. So the Team Rocket's Mimikyu is kind of what I was thinking. But anyways, Team Rocket's Chingling is kind of awesome. Well, no, I don't know, it's cool because it's another baby. It's actually not that awesome. It's free, and you just cut a random card for your opponent's hand. Kind of annoying. Pretty fitting here. And yeah, I mean, definitely like cool to see another baby Pokemon. And yeah, that's fun. Nothing super crazy there though. Team Rocket's Mimikyu is not exactly Mewtwo X, which makes it much worse, but it's still decent. Choose an attack for your opponent's active Terrastalize or Terra Pokemon that uses as the effect of this attack. So you can copy stuff like, let's look in the metagame. You can, okay, where is it? You can, there's Terrabox, which obviously this is pretty good against. Dragapult is pretty good against. Terapagos is 4. Okay, I feel like Terapagos is like fine, but anyways. Raging Bolt, it's not great. It's good against, it's like using against the Ogerpon. Charizard's still like good. I think it's underrated. It's not insane, but it's still pretty good. And I definitely see it a decent amount as well. So against like a lot of those top decks, yeah, this is like fine. It copies it. Again, a Terra Pokemon's attacks and can do really, really solid damage against like Charizard DX and stuff like that. If you use this all every turn, you'll be in a good position, in a decent position at least. It's certainly a solid attacking option, and it has free retreat. That's also really nice. So I think this Pokemon is pretty good for Team Rockets. I think it's not broken, but I think it's good. Then we have the Annihilate line, which is kind of like a budget for Alligator, I feel like, but it's okay. It's kind of fun. And then Oh, this Primeape is kind of interesting. I don't know. We'll see if with the Annihilate, but I think there's some cool stuff. And overall, the line is kind of fun, but it's not quite for Alligator. We got the Tyranitar, we got Probopass, we have what is this? If this Pokemon is in your active and has the same amount of energy attached, it does 120 more. That's funny, pretty niche, but funny. Regirock EX is kind of bad. We got Team Rocket's Arbok. Okay, Intimidating Glare. I've not looked at this yet. If this Pokemon is in your active, your opponent can't play any Pokemon cards with abilities from the hand, excluding Rocket's Pokemon. Okay, and then Spinning Tail for 3 colors. It does 30 to each of your opponent's Pokemon, and of course no weakness and resistance, but just for best bench Pokemon here. This is really interesting, really disruptive. Unsurprisingly, we see a lot of disruption on these Team Rocket's Pokemon, and this Pokemon out here is going to really slow things down. This honestly seems really annoying, stopping like everything, right? It stops almost everything. It doesn't stop Dragapult EX. I guess that's pretty meaningful. And it doesn't stop a Raging Bolt EX. It doesn't stop uh where is the meta game? Let me go back to that. It doesn't stop. There's so many things it stops. Like I just can't really think of that many. It doesn't. Are there any attack? Okay. Are there any attackers here that your opponent can play? Oh, they can play the Water Ogre Pawn and in Terrapago. So like there are some options, but it stops so much. This ability is really good. Obviously terrible against a few things like Dragapult. It's pretty bad. Oh, it's 3 darkness. That's more awkward than 3 colors, but that's okay. It's not that much more awkward. The energy is 2 darkness or 2 psychic. This is really interesting. Then Team Rocket's Nidoran, and the Nidoqueen line. This says you can like evolve here, but this does 180 for 1, but only if you have a benched Nidoking. And then we got Team. Wait, what? Oh, Pokemon with Nidoking in its name. Okay, yeah, that makes more sense because this is not Nidoking. It's Team Rocket's Nidoking EX. Anyways, Dirty Horns for 3, 2 darkness and a colorless, 100. It does 8 poison and can do 240 for 4. That seems like kind of bad. Could be worse, but I guess it's pretty weak. And then we have the Golbat and Crobat. I think these are some of the coolest cards and best cards in the set. On play, the stage 1 pings 2, or no, pings 1 Pokemon 2 damage counters, and then the Crobat EX pings 2 Pokemon 2 damage each, and then your attack for 2 darkness, you do 120, return this to your hand. You do need to discard the presumably attached Team Rock Sanji, but overall this card is really awesome. I think this line is really good. Then we have Wow, we have this Team Rocket's Grimer with Corrosive Sludge at the end of your opponent's next turn. Discard the defending Pokemon and all its cards attached. Pretty niche, but really fun there as well. Then we have Sticky Mess for 2 colors here, which does Confusion, stops retreating. Unfortunately, Corrosive Sludge does not stop retreating, so he'll probably just retreat out. But anyways, then Venom Hazard for 3. It does 100 for each special condition affecting your opponent's active. It seems a little niche, but whatever. And the coughing, I'm not really going to cover this now. You like get a bunch of them in play and you do a bunch of damage. It's kind of fun. Um, but yeah, it's cool, I guess. And then we have Team Rocket's Murkrow. Okay, this one does. You can search for a supporter, which is okay. We can do 30 and then choose an opponent, attack from one of your opponent's active Pokemon, and they can't use it next turn, which is fine as disruption, not insane, but it's okay. And then we have Team Rocket's Sneasel, which does 30 or no 20 your opponent's bench Pokemon for each damage counter already on that Pokemon. So it triples it essentially. Again, this is it does damage, so it is going to be stopped by Shaman, but that's not the biggest deal. I think this card is really solid, kind of like. I think it's on the level of Mimikyu personally. Maybe again, those Terra Pokemon are gonna stop the damage as well, but I think it's decent. Fortress, which is kind of bad. Then we have Skarmory. We have which stops itself from retreating. That seems kind of bad. Then Zamazenta, which can do damage and like retaliate damage, which is fine. We got some Team Rockets, Rattata and Eradicate, which are not great. And then it could be worse. This is 90, but if both are tails, you do a double coin flip, then you damage yourself. Team Rockets, Persian EX, your opponent reveals the top 10 of their deck, and you can copy a Pokemon's attack you find there, but you'll probably not find anything good, and so it's probably not going to do much of anything. And then we have Kangaskhan, which is not interesting. We got the Rockets Porygon line, and this one can do it does damage to some supporters, and you can draw. It's not super great though. We got Swellow. Okay, these are not getting better as I go down though. Then we got Squawk We have Team Rock's Intruder robot. This might be the last new card. We'll see. But you choose one of your opponent's face down prize cards at random, and uh, and a random card from your opponent's hand, your opponent reveals them, and you may have your opponent switch the revealed cards. That is really interesting. Oh, and then that prize remains face up for the rest of the game. This is really interesting. It seems kind of niche, especially because you're giving your opponent knowledge. I mean, you are also giving yourself knowledge and more than your opponent, because you'll see stuff like you'll see the card in their hand, which you didn't originally know. It can mess with them if you like really hit something nasty. I like this. I think it's honestly kind of just like a no, it's not better grabber, but it's like kind of similar. I like it more than grabber. Not that grabber is super good, but I like it more. And this is really weird. Yeah, I don't know, like, because then they can just take it the first time they dig a prize if it's that important. So I don't know, it's weird, but it's kind of fun. We got Team Rocket's Great Ball. It's capturing a rumor for Team Rocket's Pokemon, which is kind of bad. Team Rocket's Venture Bomb is actually kind of insane in my opinion, though. It's an item on play. You flip a coin. If heads, do 20 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. If tails, do 20 to one of your Pokemon or to your active. But you have a lot of control over this. Damaging your own active probably isn't that bad. And you can go for turn one donks with this. I think this card is kind of broken. I don't know if broken is the right word, but I think it's not fun. But anyways, that's that. Team Rocket's Receiver searches for the supporters, which we have the 6. No, wait, well, we have 5. Never mind. Yeah, okay. So this one is search for 3 basic Team Rockets Pokemon, put them onto your bench. It could be played turn one going first. This one searches for a new trainer. This one's a Guzma, but both of your Pokemon need to be Team Rockets. This one is kind of like Roxanne or Iono or something, but it's a little weaker than certainly Iono. Then this one's Draw till 5 or Draw till 8 if all your Pokemon are Team Rockets. I've covered them before. They're solid. Solid set of supporters. Pretty bad outside of Team Rockets, so I don't think you can really play this package outside of that. I thought it would have been really cool if you could have, but it seems kind of terrible. This one is decent. It's definitely like a playable supporter to search for any trainer. This one is kind of sort of playable, and the rest are pretty unplayable outside of Rockets. You can kind of text some Team Rocket stuff to get some value and maybe be able to use it, but it's not great. Next we have Team Rocket's Watchtower. Wow. Okay, this is another really disruptive card. Also Team Rocket Special Energy. Here it is. I talked about it before, but this one turns off the abilities of colorless Pokemon, or they have none, so they can then like Pidgeot could hit through the fighting Ogerpon. But yeah, this is interesting. It stops Noctowl and Pidgeot EX and Dusknoir, or no, not Dusknoir. The Dunsparce and apparently Hops has played like a decent amount. Like so Hops Snorlax and Noivern, my favorite Pokemon. Noivern's kind of bad, but anyways, this is like kind of insane. Honestly, there's some insane disruption with their Team Rocket stuff. Then we have Team Rocket's Factory. Once during either player's turn, when that player places a supporter with Team Rockets in its name, they may draw 2. Oh wow, that's really interesting. Okay, so this kind of makes me think I want to mess more with the Team Rocket stuff, maybe in other things. It's kind of weird. You're using your supporter and you're getting more value out of using your stadium, getting more value out of your supporters. It's okay. I'm definitely not. I don't love it, but I mean it's probably good for the Team Rocket stuff. This one like doesn't really interact with Team Rockets at all, but it's fine. Honestly, like it's really good. So tell me what you think of these cards down below. These are kind of crazy. Definitely some really, really strong cards in here. And I'm really excited for this set. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be pretty big and have a lot of stuff in it. But I hope you enjoyed. Consider liking, subscribing, joining the channel, all that good stuff. And as Azim said, see you in the next video.